Got a question? Here's the way. Ask the expert here today. Learning starts with today's show. Let's hear what the tech experts know.
Hi, and welcome back to our Ask the Expert series. Today we're going to bring this a little closer to home. Whether you live near a known cleanup site or you're just a concerned family member wanting to be more mindful, this segment is about the everyday habits that can reduce the risk factors your family is exposed to. The good news is that you don't have to spend a ton of money or time to effectively protect the people around you. It can just be a matter of learning simple habits and staying consistent. Let's walk through how contaminants actually get into our bodies, why kids are more at risk than adults, and what you can do about it starting today. As we discussed in the previous Ask the Expert videos, contamination is not always a large, noticeable, hazardous event. Most everyday exposure is a lot quieter and can reach people through common pathways. The first is dust. Contaminants like lead can sit in soil and become part of the dust in and around a home. That dust settles on floors, windowsills, and furniture, and it's easy to breathe in or accidentally swallow without ever noticing it. The second pathway is soil tracking. This is exactly what it sounds like. Soil from outside gets carried indoors on shoes, tools, pets, or even bike tires, and it mixes with the dust inside your home. The third is drinking water. In most cases, municipal water in Sacramento is regularly tested and treated to meet state and federal safety standards. But older plumbing, private wells, or specific contamination near a water source can sometimes introduce contaminants into water before it reaches your tap. The fourth pathway is air. Contaminants can become airborne, either as dust particles, kicked up soil, or vapor rising up from contaminated dirt or groundwater. This specific process is known as vapor intrusion, and it's actually one of the things DTSC specifically investigates at cleanup sites. To recap, exposure pathways are the routes contaminants can take to reach us. But just because you can detect these pathways around your house, it doesn't mean imminent disaster. Being aware of these pathways is a major step towards reducing exposure. We'll get more to that in a minute. Children are much more vulnerable to the health risks posed by environmental contaminants for many obvious, and maybe not so obvious, reasons. Children tend to spend a lot of time on the ground, at least more than grown-ups do, where dust and soil settle. Many kids, especially little ones aged 6 and under, love putting their hands and objects in their mouths. And because their bodies and immune systems are still developing, children's bodies absorb a much higher percentage of contaminants such as lead than adults do from the same exposure. Their bodies are also smaller in size, so the same amount of a contaminant has a bigger relative effect compared to an adult. This is why young children are usually identified as one of the most sensitive groups in environmental health, along with pregnant women. When it comes to protecting your family from contaminants, children will always require special care. Protecting kids means catching exposure earlier and being more cautious overall. As mentioned before, this is all about habits and consistency. No special equipment required. Starting with shoes. Taking shoes off at the door is one of the simplest ways to stop soil from being tracked into your living space. A mat or small bench by the entryway makes this an easy and routine way to reduce soil tracking. Next is hand washing. You're already familiar with this one. Properly washing your hands, yes, with soap, significantly reduces the spread of contaminants. This also removes dust and soil before it can be accidentally swallowed or inhaled. This is especially important for children who touch their faces far more often than adults do. Another practice is using wet cloths to clean up dust, rather than using traditional dry dusters, sweeping, or vacuuming. Brooms and vacuums can easily stir up contaminated dust back into the air to resettle into your living spaces. A damp cloth or wet mop absorbs dust and significantly reduces more spreading. If you're a gardener, a few precautions go a long way. Unless you know the history of the ground around your house, consider using raised garden beds filled with purchased soil. Wear gloves while gardening, wash your hands afterward, and always wash produce thoroughly before eating it. Especially root vegetables like carrots or potatoes, which have more direct contact with soil. It's also worth paying attention to where children play outdoors. Grassy, covered areas track in far less dust and soil than areas with dirt, sand, or even tan bark. If there's exposed soil in a play area, especially near an older building, it might be worth covering it with mulch, grass, or another barrier. You could also simply limit play there until you know more about the area. Finally, regular health screenings matter. Checkups with your doctor catch potential exposure early, often before there are any noticeable symptoms, which gives families and doctors the chance to address it right away. Talk with your family and make it a normal thing to regularly go to the doctor. If there's one takeaway from this segment, it's that consistent, everyday habits and precautions are the best ways to protect your family against environmental hazards and contaminants. If you do live near a site that DTSC is investigating or cleaning up, these habits become even more valuable, and DTSC's community outreach team can offer guidance specific to your situation. Environmental awareness is not just for scientists or lawyers, it's for all of us. Understanding what contamination is, where it comes from, and how it moves is the foundation for being an informed participant in decisions that affect your health, your family, and your neighborhood. DTSC's mission, protecting California's people from harmful, toxic substances, is a mission that depends on engaged communities. Their EnviroStore database is a powerful tool you can use right now to look up contaminated sites near your home, your child's school, or anywhere in Sacramento. Visit chastengold.org to learn more. Thank you for watching, and always make sure to ask an expert.
Got a question? Here's the way. Ask the expert here today. Learning starts with today's show. Let's hear what the tech experts know.